she never planned to kiss him. In fact, she had spent most of her adult life avoiding him. But that one unexpected kiss, accidental, shocking, and witnessed by the wrong people, became the moment that twisted her fate. Before she could even breathe, she found herself forced to pretend to be married to the man she had sworn to stay away from. And that man, Adrian Hale, was the one person who had the power to destroy her carefully built world with nothing but a single look. Her name was Maya Rivers, a quiet, determined woman working hard at the City Museum to secure a permanent position. Adrian, on the other hand, was the wealthy benefactor funding the museum's new wing. Their worlds clashed like fire and ice every time they encountered each other. Adrian thought she was too guarded. Maya thought he was too arrogant. They merely tolerated each other, until that disastrous evening when a wrongly timed stumble made her fall straight into him, their lips colliding in a moment that felt like slow-motion chaos. The worst part wasn't the kiss itself, it was who saw it. A group of reporters waiting outside the museum doors, hungry for scandal and ready to twist anything into a headline. Cameras flashed. Questions flew. And Maya's frozen shock only made it worse. Adrian instinctively wrapped an arm around her to shield her from the chaos, but the damage was done. By morning, the news had exploded with one single claim: Adrian Hale secretly married a museum curator. Maya's life flipped upside down. Her boss demanded she clarify her relationship status, donors bombarded her with questions, and strangers online dissected her life. Meanwhile, the museum board panicked. Adrian's reputation was tied to their largest project. When the public relations manager suggested they should temporarily play along, Maya felt her heart drop. She wanted to scream that this was absurd, but her job, her reputation, and the museum's credibility were at stake. Adrian stepped forward unexpectedly, pulling her into a private office, telling her he didn't want her dragged into chaos. Yet, when he asked her to join him in maintaining the lie until the press cooled down, Maya's breath caught. She wanted to refuse, but she needed her job, and he needed his reputation protected. It wasn't about romance, it was a negotiation sealed by desperation. And so, with shaking hands and a painful lump in her throat, she agreed. Their first public appearance as a married couple was painfully awkward. Maya kept her hands clasped tightly, while Adrian tried to act natural, placing a hand on her back to guide her through the crowd. The touch sent sparks she hated herself for feeling. Reporters murmured, flashing cameras like strobe lights, whispering about how, in love, they looked. The world believed their lie instantly. But inside, Maya's heart was a battlefield of fear, confusion, and unexpected warmth. Forced to spend more time together, they had to learn each other's habits. Maya discovered Adrian wasn't the arrogant man she assumed. He was burdened by a lonely childhood and responsibilities he never asked for. Adrian, meanwhile, saw the quiet storms inside Maya, the pressure she carried, the dreams she chased silently, the past she tried to forget. Their fake marriage became a strange bridge between two damaged, guarded souls. One evening, as they practiced answers for an upcoming interview, Adrian asked her what she truly wanted in life. Maya hesitated. No one had ever asked her that question without expecting something from her. When she finally admitted her wish to open a children's art program at the museum, Adrian listened with a softness she had never seen before. Something shifted between them, something neither wanted to admit. Their closeness grew in silent moments. Late-night coffee talks. Shared car rides when the world seemed too loud. Accidental touches that lingered too long. Maya found herself noticing the small things, the way Adrian rubbed his thumb when deep in thought, how he softened around children, how he tried, really tried, to make her comfortable. It scared her. Falling for a lie was the last thing she could afford. Just as their fragile bond started to bloom, a storm hit. A leaked email suggested Maya manipulated Adrian into marrying her to secure her job. The internet erupted with insults, calling her a gold digger, an opportunist, a fraud. Maya felt crushed. She didn't cry easily, but that night she broke. She packed her things, ready to walk away from everything, determined not to be a burden on Adrian or the museum anymore. When Adrian found her, suitcase in hand, he looked more shaken than she had ever seen him. He demanded to know why she was leaving. She shouted back that she didn't want her presence to ruin him. Adrian's voice cracked as he insisted that he didn't care about the press, not anymore, not when it meant losing her. The intensity in his eyes told her the truth before he said it. He had fallen for her, deeply and unexpectedly. But Maya couldn't believe him. Not yet. She had spent her life avoiding disappointment, avoiding risk. Love felt dangerous. Adrian stepped closer, gently cupping her face, his voice low and trembling as he said the words she feared and longed to hear, that the kiss may have been an accident, but everything after, his protectiveness, his caring, his feelings, were painfully real. Maya's heart warred against her fear. The tension between them thickened in the quiet room. For the first time since the chaos began, Adrian apologized, not for the lie, not for the kiss, but for failing to protect her from the world's cruelty. He promised to tell the truth, even if it cost him everything. Hearing those words, Maya felt her defenses crack. No one had ever chosen her over their own reputation. No one had ever fought for her. The next day, Adrian held a press conference. Cameras surrounded him as he admitted the marriage rumor was fake, but he took full responsibility, publicly defending Maya's integrity, her work, and her character. He made it clear she had nothing to do with the fabrication. Maya watched from a distance, her chest tight, realizing how much he risked to protect her name. That act changed everything. When Maya met him afterward, the air between them was different, gentler, honest. She asked why he would sacrifice his reputation for her. Adrian smiled softly, admitting he was tired of living a life built on pleasing everyone but himself. And because, he added quietly, he wanted her in his life, truthfully this time, without lies, without pressure, without pretending. Maya's heart trembled. She stepped closer, finally letting herself feel everything she had been pushing away. She told him that she didn't want a fake marriage anymore, but she also wasn't ready for a real one. Adrian laughed gently, saying they could go at her pace, as slow or fast as she needed. All he wanted was the chance to prove his feelings were real. Their relationship blossomed naturally from that moment, not out of obligation, but choice. They walked together through the chaos, facing whispers, rebuilding trust, and learning to communicate with honesty. The world eventually forgot the scandal, but Maya and Adrian remembered it as the strange beginning of something extraordinary. This time, their story wasn't built on misunderstanding, it was built on truth. Months later, Maya stood at the museum's opening ceremony, watching children paint bright colors across the new art room she had dreamed of for years. Adrian had helped make it possible, but he stayed in the background, letting her shine. That simple act made her realize how deeply he respected her dreams. It wasn't about power or image anymore, it was about partnership. As the event ended, Adrian approached her quietly, slipping his hand into hers. Maya didn't pull away. Instead, she leaned into him, feeling a peace she had never felt before. Their journey had been messy, unexpected, and full of chaos, but it led them to a place neither of them had imagined. They had started as strangers forced by circumstance, but now they walked side by side, choosing each other every day. That evening, as they stood on the museum rooftop watching the city glow, Adrian whispered that if she ever wanted their story to become real, a true marriage, not a pretend one, he'd be honored. Maya smiled, tears forming as she rested her head on his shoulder. She wasn't ready yet, but for the first time, the future didn't scare her. It felt full of promise. In the end, the unexpected kiss that once felt like a disaster had become the twist of fate that changed both of their lives. Sometimes the most complicated beginnings lead to the most beautiful endings. Maya finally understood that the heart doesn't always follow logic, it follows courage. And loving Adrian, slowly and honestly, was the bravest thing she had ever done. Their story wasn't about a fake marriage. It was about